So the World Cup just ended last week, and I gotta say, as someone who just got into soccer or football or whatever you guys want to call it, this has got to be the best sporting event in the entire world. And really, it's truly amazing having like 48 teams, over billions and billions of fans from all around the world, and they're all connecting with this one event. Damn, that's just like truly inspiring. Like when I was on Instagram or something, I saw like Korean people dancing salsa with some Mexicans, and then there's dressing up ducks in this Mexican jersey, and they're getting invited to the carne asada and shit like that. Like no other event on earth would have these things happen. With that though, there kind of is like a little sadness in my heart going on because the World Cup ended. But with the ending, it's really not all sadness and all blues. There are hella takeaways that I got from watching this tournament that are more than just sports and soccer, more on a personal and kind of a mindset level. So I wanted to share some of them with you today. And, I hope you guys can understand what I'm saying and apply these into your life if you want. But with all that, let's get into it. So here are the 7 takeaways that I learned from watching this year's World Cup and how it can help people like you and myself level up our lives. And you might want to stick around until the very end because the 7th one is so unique that you might have to rewind it to make sure you even heard it right. But before that last one, we got 6 more. And the first one is pretty insane and it's pretty simple, but it might be the truth that you might not want to hear. And really the first takeaway that I had from watching this year's World Cup is that soccer or football or whatever you guys want to call it, wherever you're from in the world, it is actually hands down the best sport in the world. And before you click off, you're like, oh, this guy's so dumb. I'm American, okay? I grew up the biggest diehard basketball fan. I'm a Timberwolves fan, man. I love basketball to the heart. I love playing pickup. I love playing hella 2K when I was younger. But as I've matured, I'm 24 years old right now. Like soccer is just better. And for one, like the argument that can be made why it's so good is that it's the most accessible sport in the world. I was reading up on this. Like in basketball, you need a hoop. In hockey, you need ice. You need skates. You don't even need a goal for soccer. All you need is a ball. And at that, it doesn't even have to be a fancy ball. It could just be some sort of makeshift ball that's circular that you can kick around or head around. And what's awesome about soccer is that there is no barrier to entry. Like if you think about sports like golf or hockey, you need to pay every time you play around. Or if you break a stick, that new one's going to cost like $600, man. Like Bauer sticks are hella expensive. And soccer is just so accessible. You don't really need any money. So that's why every country in the world can play it. And on top of just like the financial aspect, there's so many options for watching and supporting a team and players to support. Like if you're from America, you're probably like, I don't care about soccer. Well, you could probably have an MLS club near you. Oh, if you hate the MLS, don't worry. You want to watch games at midnight? You could probably watch like the fucking Chinese Super League. And that's not to mention the biggest leagues of them all, like Prem and La Liga. And on top of that, the beautiful, beautiful Champions League. And this might be a casual take, but I really only got into soccer because of FIFA 22. It was like free on PlayStation one day, and I was playing online friendlies, and I ended up picking Liverpool as my squad. And to this day, man, I love their logo. Their kits were sick. Ever since 2022, really, I've been supporting the Reds. And really awesome club that I picked because fortunate enough to see a Premier League championship in my short time of supporting the club. But really, with all of this to say, that's kind of off on a tangent. Soccer or football is just so good too that you can also add the international aspect of it with people representing their countries from the World Cup to the European Championship to like the CONCACAF or whatever the hell it's called. There's this national pride that is there, and it is really, really contagious. And since the World Cup was in the U.S., I was actually fortunate enough and blessed enough to go to a game in Kansas City. It was Netherlands versus Tunisia, and I was able to experience this famous phenomenon like the Orange Walk. And I was talking to dudes from the Netherlands, and the pride and joy that they showed for their country, it was truly unbelievable. And I'll pause the soccer glaze fest for a little bit, but one last thing is that soccer is all year round. So there's not an off season, so you can watch it all year long, and you don't have to have a break like you do with other sports like football or hockey or baseball. So that was probably my least serious takeaway from watching the World Cup. But on a more serious note, the second takeaway I want to highlight in this video is that when I watched the World Cup, man, myself and others, we were pretty simple. All we do is we yearn for community. I seriously do yearn for community. And there's this trend going around online that's like, we're simple creatures. All we want is blah, blah, blah. And my simple thing is, man, I just love having this community. I truly do yearn it, having people to talk to, experience same experiences with other people. Because I feel like as humans, we have this simple yet complex yearn for human connection. And on top of that, I feel like having a community is something that is so underrated nowadays, because in this digital age, it is so easy and so safe to stay isolated in your house like a chud, and you have this online presence but you don't have a physical one, and you can't even make eye contact with people anymore because they're looking left, right, anywhere but your eyes. Like they're kind of scared of looking in your eyes. And this isn't to say like playing games with the boys, like if you're hopping on like Fortnite or whatever, it's not a community. But really, now more than ever, it's easier to hide from society and chill in our rooms and just be cooped up. And what I learned, and what I kind of like alluded to before, was that as humans, we need and we crave that kind of connection with other people. And if we're chasing a common goal and we have the sense of community, for example, like when I was doing the Orange Walk with the Netherlands fans, I didn't know a single person there, but they were treating me like they knew me for decades. They were treating me like family. They were giving me beer, and they were like talking to me and asking me questions. And I was like, damn, man, I don't even know you, but you just came 10,000 miles away to this city, and here we are bonding over this special thing. And I was rocking their jersey, and I was supporting them, and I was trying to learn the chants and the dances. And that's when it really hit me that having community is something that I have been missing, and I wonder about all the time. Like, does corporate America take away this sense of community? Also, I wonder if anyone who's watching this video, if you guys have had the same feeling as I. Like when I used to play basketball with my buddies, the community of hooping in the gym was just unmatched. There was this kind of like respect and bond with each other, all wanting to win and having to play a fun game. I really got to say, man, having a community is unmatched. And on top of being a part of a community, the third lesson I learned, and I felt it was so deep within me, and when it comes down to it, the third lesson I learned is that I will always root for the underdog. And this may be due to some kind of deeper physiological or psychological thing, but the story of Cape Verde, this little island off the coast of Africa with like 130,000 people, they were able to draw and go into extra time with the reigning powerhouse champions, Argentina. This is like a beautiful storybook kind of thing. This is a real life example based on that even like when we feel overwhelmed and we feel like the underdogs, that truly, if we think about it, we can do anything, especially if you're in a group with people or alone. Like, I would be lying if I said I wasn't sad when they lost, man. Vozinha's the GOAT. And I was hoping they would beat Argentina to finally see Goliath fall to David. And I really believe that unless your team is favored, like it's your team that's favored, when would you ever root for the favorites? To me, that's kind of lame and kind of mundane to always pick them. It's kind of chalk, as some would say. And when sports and life, I believe, is the most exciting, it's when the underdog wins and creates an upset and creates a narrative. And this is where the fun truly begins. I was thinking about it. We can take this concept of underdogs in sports and we can apply it onto everything in our lives. Like, are you at the bottom of the corporate ladder and you're always bullshitting around at work? Well, maybe you can get that promotion over the guy that kisses so much ass that his lips are brown and no one really likes him, because maybe you have a better aura. Maybe you're just a lucky guy. I don't know. Or maybe you have never been to the gym and you have this goal of benching 225 pounds within the next year. It's completely possible if you take this underdog mindset And if you apply it and work your ass off to go get your goal, because without the work, a goal is just a dream and will never happen. And do you really want to live a life of regret because you didn't give it your all? I don't think so, Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge. If you get that reference, that's dope as hell. But I keep hearing this quote online that it's like, the hungry dogs gotta eat. And man, that's true. As corny as it is, the hungry dogs do gotta fucking eat. And it will always be that way. So takeaway number 3 is to be the underdog, and you can accomplish anything. All right, for my next lesson, I learned this, and this may be the most cliche lesson in the video, but bro, does it carry so much weight, and it feels very true. Before I get into it, just think about this. Think about the whole World Cup event, from the start in Mexico to the finish in New York. When were you most excited? During the final? Probably not, man. Like, the final is the biggest stakes game. It might be the most popular as well, but it's not the best time. Hear me out. The best time of the World Cup was with the anticipation of leading up to the World Cup and during the World Cup. In cliche terms, it really equals out to that the goal isn't the best thing. It's truly about the journey, and the journey is more fulfilling than the outcome. I don't know about y'all, but my favorite time during the World Cup wasn't the knockouts. It wasn't even the final, man. It was that week, that couple of day period where we were getting like 6 days a game, and there was nonstop soccer all day long. And before I get more into deep depth, there's this meme of that Greek dude rolling that boulder up the hill that all these philosophers or deep thinkers, they post on social media. And I think it's hella accurate, man. Like, the journey to the goal really is better than the goal itself. To bring it even a level deeper, like, I truly believe, man, that the day right before the World Cup kicked off was probably the most excited and hella anticipated I felt like this whole tournament. Because I knew there was going to be the grand event in front of us, and we were going to be spoiled with 5 weeks of greatness. And that feeling was way better than watching the ending of Spain versus Argentina. Honestly, if you disagree, I would love to know your thoughts, and post them in the comments below, because I love to embrace debate. And the idea of the journey is better than the goal or reward, I think it's so valid with everything in our lives. Like, for example, right now I'm chasing to grab 1,000 subscribers. But I know when I reach it, man, I might feel a little empty because I was chasing it for so long, and the journey will now officially be over to 1,000 subs. And there's this cheesy quote from The Office that I might butcher, but it's like, how do we know we're in the good times, or something like that? And it's because if you're chasing your dreams and your goals, we are in the good times. We are chasing our dreams and our goals. Therefore, that is the greatest time. So that was the 4th lesson. And moving on to the 5th lesson that this World Cup has taught me is that the World Cup, if it happened every year, it would lose its mystique and its aura and its specialness. Or in broader terms and more layman terms, it's kind of the scarcity that stuff creates. That is what creates excitement and curiosity. And I think there's a reason that winning the World Cup carries more weight than winning, say, a Champions League or a Premier League, is because those opportunities to win the Champions League, they happen every single year, no matter what. But the World Cup, it comes every 4 years. So just in itself, how it is a bigger achievement. And how I relate this to my life is this thing that I used to do in college. So shout out to Mara if you're watching this, but Mara and I, we were college friends, and we still are friends. But anyways, in college, we used to love drinking boba. You know, those black, chewy balls with some delicious milk tea. But I knew if I got boba every single day, well, 1, it would be like financially responsible, and 2, it wouldn't be that healthy. But most of all, it would lose its novelty very quickly. So for better or for worse, I disciplined myself to only get boba once every 2 weeks. And it was hard, man. Like, getting to those 2 weeks, like the halfway point, I was like, damn, I really want boba on this Friday, but I got another week to wait. But I gotta admit, waiting 2 weeks made it taste that much better, and the experience was just so much better. And the memories associated with getting it, it's because, like, it was so awesome and it was so scarce, and it made me happier than if I got it every day. Like I said, it would lose its novelty. And how this boba metaphor, the same concept applies to the World Cup. But not only that, it can apply to other aspects of our lives. Having discipline, I believe, it creates that delayed gratification that will do us wonders
especially nowadays where their world is full of easy dopamine and instant gratification. And it's hard to hide from, honestly. And if you have something that you may be addicted to, or you have a lot, like a coffee or something like that, maybe this isn't health advice, but maybe try spacing it out every now and then, or maybe use it once every other day or whatever. It just makes it more special. So lesson number 5 that I learned from this World Cup is that scarcity is a good thing. But moving on to the second to last lesson I learned from this World Cup, before that 7th and big and final review, it's this one that it's kind of underrated in my opinion. But the 6th lesson that I learned from this World Cup is that it is okay to care about stuff that people with big brains, or so they say, it's okay to care about stuff that people deem stupid. I mean, if you think about it, at its core, watching 22 grown men kick around a ball for 2 hours isn't exactly world-changing, riveting stuff. And I can see the argument that some people have that like, oh, why do you care about another man? You have another man's name on your back. That's so lame. I kind of get it to a point, but really, man, in the end, who the fuck cares what other people think? Humans have been watching sports and doing this kind of thing since like the Jurassic ages. Have you ever seen a gladiator, the Colosseum? You're telling me there wasn't a bookie walking around the Colosseum taking people's bets on who would win if it was the lion or the human? But I'm not promoting gambling, but sports, they have been ingrained in our human culture forever. And yes, it is a privilege to even care about and watch sports, but there's so many positives to it. And I gotta say, who cares what some obese chud or some looks-maxer dude on Twitter is saying about the World Cup, about how there are other things in life to take more seriously, which it's true to a point, but you don't have to shove it down people's throats. If you enjoy watching sports, if you enjoy watching a Netflix show, if you enjoy watching Love Island, as cheesy as it may be, that's what makes you happy, that's what you enjoy, then do it, man. Don't listen to what other people have to say. Because at the end of the day, we only have a finite time in this life. So we have to enjoy what we can. And if watching dudes score some fucking bangers in the World Cup, if that's what you want to do, you should do it. And I really do truly hate the notion of like just hating on sports and saying sports are stupid, because it's not true, man. Sports do have dumb people. There are dumb moments in sports, but the theory of sports is awesome. Maybe I should make a video on that. The theory of sports. That sounds dope. Comment below if you'd listen to that. And yes, there are aspects that suck, but that's with everything on earth. You got gambling ads up the ass. Like those things are not fun. You got hydration breaks. Those things suck. But if you enjoy something, this is beyond soccer. If you enjoy something, I really believe we got to follow that passion and keep going, and don't listen to what fat ass chuds on the internet have to say, because seriously, no one cares and it is not that deep. But for my 7th and final lesson that I took away from this World Cup, that you may have watched all the way to the end of the video for, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. But what I learned from this World Cup is that time will slow down for absolutely nobody. And this is kind of an eerie, creepy lesson, but it's crazy to think about, because not that long ago, I was 12 years old watching Germany bust down Brazil 7-1 in the semifinal in 2014. And that was over 12 fucking years ago at this point. It's crazy and scary to think that I wasn't even a teenager when that happened. And now I'm 24, working my corporate slop job, watching Mbappe score bangers. And even the GOAT Messi is on his last legs. And this is probably his last World Cup ever. Moving on, this is super important that we cherish our time, because before we know it, it'll be, 2034? And who knows what all of our lives, you and I, what will our lives look like 8 years down the road? Hell, what will our lives look like 2 years down the road? So much shit can change. And really, I want to make a video on this as well, but time is only going faster. Time is not slowing down for anybody. It does not give a fuck who you are, how big your salary is. It does not care. And to be real, this kind of keeps me up at night, man. It scares the hell out of me, because I'm conscious of the fact that, bro, we only get one try at this game of life shit. And each day that passes, as depressing as this might sound, it's one less day that we have. I don't know if that's the right healthy mindset to have, but it's what crossed my mind when I was thinking about this. And I want everybody watching this video, and I'm talking to myself as well because I need to do better at this, but we need to try and appreciate every single day like it is our last. YOLO, as cliched it is, it's true. It's cliche for a reason. And not even for sports, but just life in general. There are eras, Jordan era, LeBron era, Kobe era, we got Messi era, we got Pele era, whatever it is. They all come to an end, whether you like it or not. Think about it in video games. I think I have a good viewership of people who love video games like myself, but think about this. Minecraft is like 20 years old at this point. Black Ops 2, not the PS5 edition that just came out. Black Ops 2 on the 360 is like 15 years old. Those were my childhood, but now it is but a distant memory. So really the World Cup happens every 4 years, but the lessons that we can learn will last an entire lifetime. And we can apply these 7 lessons and even more that you think about, we can apply them to our lives to level up our lives and just further the betterment of our mindsets and our lives. Hey, but in all seriousness, those are just some lessons that I took away from watching this World Cup. It was a decent World Cup all around. I was hoping France would win, but we got the Mbappe special. But thank you to everybody for watching. And let me know any lessons that I did not cover in today's video that you learned from watching the World Cup. Or it doesn't even have to be from the World Cup. If you just learned it recently or you want to share it with other people, put it down in the comments because that will be hella supportive. I really believe it and I appreciate it. But really, those are just some of my thoughts, everybody. Thank you all so much for the support recently and for watching this video. But with that being said, peace.